We have probably one of my favorite Hondas ever created, and it's a really nice color. It's green. I actually prefer that kiwi green rather than this, but I am going to be putting this up for sale. So we did fix the frame on it. This is a really popular Honda. It's the Honda Element. This is a four-wheel drive version, and it's got the hitch, which I'm going to remove and sell separately. I am going to be removing this and selling it separately, and these. So these are kind of cool. But this is the wheel that we did some work, and unfortunately it's not perfect because there's a lot of rust in here because it's a New York car. Every time you have cars in New York, they end up being in really bad shape. So, but this car, the outside looks really pretty. I mean, this thing is super good looking. It's a really nice car. The battery actually held. The front is in good shape. This is one of the handiest cars that you'll probably see, and there's like this really big demand for Honda Elements because here's one of the things I really like about it. It's these suicide doors, and you can open it like this. Let me look how large that is. This is why people use this for camping. So this is the car that doesn't know what it is. It could be like a SUV, it could be a pickup truck, it could be a station wagon. That's the beauty of this car. It's a car that doesn't know what it is, and I think that's what I like about it. What I like mostly about it is that, look at this. You have this kind of like a SUV that pops up, and then you have this, a tailgate, like a pickup truck. So this makes this thing extremely handy. And of course, everybody knows about the seats. The seats actually fold flat into beds. That's right, they fold into beds. There's even a 12-volt lighter or a 12-volt charger over there. It's really handy. Some people might wonder, why do you need that? But it's for camping, you know. You go out, you have a generator, you want to charge your electronics, get some lights going, and you have that. Then you have all of these hooks everywhere. You know, the beauty of this is that it's hard plastic everywhere, and so it's very easy to clean. And one of the things that happens with this car is that they use it for work. You know, there's companies that use it, they put their information on here. Instead of using a pickup truck, they'll use a Honda Element because it's much more reliable than a, you know, American-made car. Let's look at the back seats. This is my third Honda Element, and I do want to get one that's a 5-speed. I used to have a two-wheel drive 5-speed that I sold, and that was really good. Let's look at the back seats here. So they're in great shape, and you also have, of course, a very large moonroof over here. You have your cup holders in the back seat. There's only 2 seats in the back, so that's one of the downsides of this car. A lot of families and stuff, they want another seat. Amazing. And then you can push this and lift up the seat and kind of fold it, and it'll basically go against the wall here at the side. It has so much space. This is one of my favorite Hondas by far. I really like this car. The seat goes all the way up. Look at that. It's kind of dirty. I will be cleaning it up. This one's got a console here. Front seat folds flat, and then you make this one flat, and you essentially have a bed in here. And lots of people have been camping on these Honda Elements. There's a famous YouTuber, I think his YouTube is Elemental Life, and he travels the United States basically just living in his element and surfing. And that's kind of like the demographic. It's kind of like these hipsters that have Honda Elements. But what happened is that Honda wanted to aim this towards younger people, because this car itself, when it was new, wasn't that expensive. 18 to 22,000. But what happened is that the people that they were aiming at could not afford it. So the people that bought this car were older people, and only now is the Honda Element reaching the hipsters that it was aimed at. Elements hold their value like crazy. There's a demand for it. So this one's got 114,000 miles. That is very low mileage for Honda Elements. I find Honda Elements going for 200 something thousand, and they hold their value. It's a car that is simply one of these cars that for $3,000 you're going to get one with about 200,000 miles. Something with 100,000 miles is going to cost you 5,000 to 6,000. And this is an older car. It's like 15 years old. So it's kind of insane that the prices for these hold. When you compare it to Honda CR-V, the CR-Vs are so cheap in comparison. And this one, you do pay a premium for a Honda Element because they don't make them anymore. And now that people are getting these because they realize how handy they are. Just to tell you how handy they are, I have fitted motorcycles inside of my old Honda Elements. I've never been able to fit a motorcycle inside a SUV, but I fit a Zero motorcycle. Close this suicide door. Look how big this is. So I'm inside the Honda Element. The one thing that you're going to notice right away about Honda Elements is that they have an incredible amount of headspace. And there are two different demographics that I see getting Honda Elements. There's the elderly and the young people, which is kind of strange. There's like either older people or just like younger 20-something-year-old type of people. I think there's a lot of flexibility in this car, but there are some major issues. I've done videos about some of the problems that these Honda Elements have, and you're going to find this quite often, and just look up on my channel about some of the issues. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the resale of Honda Elements. These hold their value. If you have a Honda Element with 100,000 miles, that's a very good buy, because if you can get it for $5,000, that's a good deal. And this one doesn't have that many miles. This one's got 114,000 miles. So I'm actually going to turn it on. This one's got 118,000 miles. It's a 4-speed, and it is all-wheel drive. So this is kind of a sought-after vehicle. The outside is in very good shape. The only issue with this one is that it's got some frame rust, and that is one of the issues that you're going to find on cars on the East Coast, especially near New York. The cars tend to get kind of damaged up there with the salt and from the snow. This car, though, driving it is slow. It's a slow, very basic car, but people don't get this because it's a slow vehicle. They get this because they want something that's practical. And it is one of the most practical cars you can get because there's just so much space back there. And for me, what I like about it is that it's got enough towing that I can pull my motorcycle. And I can pull my motorcycle using like a hitch and a trailer, go to a spot to ride. And if I want to do multi-day rides, I can actually set up the inside of this as a camper. So as a camper, the seats themselves fold into bed, so you don't need a lot to get this into a camper style. And what I find is that a lot of people actually they remove the back seats and they put a full-size bed in there. They build shelves. There's a lot that goes into building a camper system, but this is probably one of the best SUVs for camping. It really was meant for it. Look at the dash. It's a typical Honda style, and radio, the knobs are extremely big, and this doesn't seem to brake very much. I have an automatic with overdrive, and down here you have a speaker. Over here you have a aux for your phone, and then you have another 12-volt socket, and then you have your glove box here. And then you have a coin slot here, you have cruise control, you have your aux lights, And then you, of course, you have a flat tray here to put even more stuff, and another one here. So you have plenty of ability of storage. Of course, this car is meant for practical sort of people. The only windows that open are the front ones. These don't open except just a little latch that opens a little bit. And on the top you have even more stuff. You have lights, you have like a little compartment here. So let's go ahead and start the car. Very quiet engine. The transmission is silky smooth. It's a baby for Honda Element, so let's just go ahead and give a little bit of a spin here. You see my windshield is cracked, and that's pretty normal. These cars, that's one of the constant problems that they have. The car has been sitting, so the brakes have started to get a little rust here and there. But I'm surprised, you know, this is a very nice car, and 118,000 miles is nothing. I mean, it's unfortunately it's got some rust in the frame, but that's pretty normal for a car. Well guys, that is the Honda Element project. It's a beautiful car, and you have to kind of admire these square cars. This one started that whole square thing that's happened, and with the Kia Soul, this one started it all. So it's a fascinating vehicle, and one of the things that's happening is that there's so much demand for this car that I believe that Honda will be bringing this back, and I think it's going to be a very interesting car, perhaps even hybrid.